What's happening, guys? John Denton here, back with another reaction. Listen, as we come to the end of 2020 and what a year it's been, I'm just playing a little bit of catch up on some of my most requested album reactions from stuff that came out this year. We did Gunna's Wunna, Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia, easily one of the most requested albums on this channel. If you want to see this in uncut form, as always, link down in the description to the Patreon, the entire support structure for the channel. Shout out to everybody on there for allowing me to do this. And before we start, being that I am in England, being that Dua Lipa is always played on the radio, and I think even one of the songs from this record is on FIFA 21. I have heard a few of the songs on this album, so I just want to be completely honest with you. But as always, on the reaction, we're always listening with slightly different ears, even these big ears. Right, let's do this.
Architecture, John Lautner coming your way. I know you like this beat. My name's on the tip of your tongue, keep running your mouth.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too sure about that speaking bit at the beginning, but it definitely fit the aesthetic.
No matter what you do, I'm gonna get it without you.
Woo. Okay.
I know you ain't used to a female house. I know you ain't used to a
Man, I love the beat on this. Very Daft Punk Discovery era, which is obviously like, God, that was nearly 20 years ago. Anyway, obviously that was like a retro throwback to 70s and 80s as well. So it's just like that continued. Yeah.
to figure me out. My name's on the tip of your tongue. Get it without you. I know you ain't used to a female house. I can't build you up if you ain't tough enough.
Yeah, man, the instrumentals are crazy on this. The bridges before the chorus, I love. The chorus, I love.
I know you're dying trying to figure me out. My name's on.
Very enjoyable track, man. That kind of like electro funk, it's always gonna work. Always gonna work. No doubt in the voice, never was. I think I've heard this song.
Did a full 180. Crazy.
Now, yeah, I heard this song. And obviously that beginning bit was on all the TikToks, wasn't it? And they were reproduced into the Twitter, Instagram stories. And man, that's the thing. Like, it was funny. They were funny. So there's nothing against it. I don't think it's very good for music, that. I really don't. Maybe I just sound like an old man. When songs are sort of being repurposed for the purpose of people showing off to each other and making it all about themselves, and you could argue I'm doing that by just being on camera talking about music, but I don't think it's exactly the same thing. I had a preconception of this record based on that, and only hearing that bit, and then immediately when it keeps going, and I have heard this whole song before on the radio as well, but way more with those clips. Oh, you go, actually, that bass is going for a walk. Actually, there's something a little bit more to it rather than just that bit. I'm not blaming the people doing TikToks. It's what you have to do if you want to do TikTok, but long term, I don't personally think it's great for music. Maybe I'll do a video on it sometime.
Is it the heartbreak changed me? Baby, I'm not where you left me.
Sorry to pause it again. Obviously, there's a difference between listening on quality headphones and listening just through, you know, the radio or just not paying attention to it. And yeah, the production again, the bass. Also, I meant to say on Future Nostalgia, the beginning track, when those pianos came in, they started sounding slightly discordant to give the song a different energy. You have to give a shout out to everybody involved there.
Stop caring about me now. Walk away. You know that anything can stop me. Don't come out. Don't stop caring about me now.
Listen, I don't love the soaring kind of like trancey, housey breakdown with the piano and the bed and everything like that. But these sections with the bass going for a walk all day. Come on. It's a good tune. It definitely is a good tune. Overly familiar because of the TikToks. Overly familiar because of the airplay. But still, when you actually break down into how it's constructed and everything like that, apart from those soaring kind of house moments, which I'm not a big fan of, yeah, you can't deny it. And I like the vibe that's going through this whole record, definitely, even though I'm about to sneeze. No, I'm good. Okay.
You got me losing all my cool, 'cause I'm burning up for you. In control of what I do, never running out of juice, when it's only me and you.
Now, this is the one so far. That chorus, though?
I guess we're ready for the song.
like MJ vibes on this one. You got In Excess vibes in the instrumental. A bit of Fine Young Cannibals in there, going back to me being a little kid. Vocal performance is crazy. Yeah, this song is awesome, right? It really is.
Guess you're ready for the song. Got me losing all my cool. 'Cause I'm burning up for you. In control of what I do. And I love the way you move. When it's only me and you. When it's only me and you.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I'm enjoying this, man. Pretty sure I've heard this one as well.
No, don't you agree? Baby, keep on dancing like you ain't got a choice. So come on.
Very similar song to Blinding Lights, just structurally everything about it.
Don't you agree? Let's get physical. Lights out, follow the noise. Keep on dancing.
Come on.
Let's get physical. Now hold up, just a little time.
It's a shame that her vocals are so heavily produced, and it makes sense, right? It definitely makes sense because this is just a pop album, and all the aesthetics of it makes sense. But you just like to hear it just a little rawer sometimes. I think you had it a bit more in that previous track, slightly less going on her vocals, just so I could pierce through that bit more.
Let's get physical. Come on. Physical.
It's another good track. It really is another good track. Just really enjoying kind of like diving into the depth of the production. It's like the music from this era, which was when I was very little or before I was born. And it's also like the kind of retro revival of this music 20 years later with Daft Punk, Stardust, etc, etc, etc. That was kind of more French housey. There's just so much more that's possible now with audio engineering, with the mixing, with everything like that. So you just really get into exactly all the way that the pieces are being put together.
I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. Yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
This tune is too cold. It really is. Listen, I love the fact that we're getting to the place, which is what I've always wanted from this channel, and we'll see if we can sustain it, where on the same week on the channel we can have some like blistering hardcore trap music like that Lil Yachty, Future and Playboy Carti song. We can have some conscious rap, like we're going to get another Lupe Fiasco video this week where we're diving into bars and he's breaking everything down. The lyricism is unbelievable. And we can have straight pop bangers like this all in the same week on the channel. And there are different people who like different parts of the channel, but that is what I want the channel to be. So hopefully you guys will be along for all of it. And I know some people will go, why are you doing this album? Come on, man. Like I said, you got to open your ears up to as many genres as possible, because you never know what you might miss out on if you don't.
Believe the truth for me, I feel it in our energy. I see it's written in the stars. But forever, every time we get together, but whatever, let's get lost on Mars. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating.
Come on.
Moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. I'm levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You're down to our star. And even if I wanted to, I can't stop. You want me, I want you, baby.
Oh, the breakdown.
I'm levitating. The Milky Way. You're my starlight. I need you. You can fly away with me tonight. All night. Come on, dance with me. I'm levitating.
Man, that's one of the best tracks of this year. It is. And when you actually go and listen to it, the amount going on musically there, not only just the structure of it, the syncopation, all that sort of stuff, but the amount going on musically with that breakdown where it goes into a trap beat slightly. You hear those skipping hi-hats, the sliding 808 for a second, and it brings the disco back in. Man, the reason that song is so good, and it's not just because it's got a skippy little chorus, which it does. There's so much going on there, man.
Think I lied a little. I said if I'll pay your hand now, and you're turning me on, I wanna feel a different kind of tension.
The bass.
Pretty please, underneath your body. Yeah, come try me, baby, come find me, baby, don't wind me up. Pretty please.
very Cassius, very Daft Punk. Sort of broken up samples there, even a little sneaky bit of cowbell. Listen, I'm always going to be a sucker for that music. Love that cowbell.
Please.
Another tune. Every song's been a tune. Every one.
I can do what I want. Oh, baby, I can make it pretty. I can string you along. I hallucinate when you call my name.
A bit more sort of standard pop banger, this one, with kind of like house vibes. It's not hitting me in the same way. I do think this album is going to break all of my records on reactions for finger clicks, though. Okay.
I can't believe this.
That sample at the beginning is from a song that I remember from years ago, Your Woman by Whitetown. I had to look it up, I couldn't remember the name of it. I assume that sample is actually also from something else.
But goddamn, you got me in love again. Right here, baby, touch me so I know I'm not crazy. Love again. You got me in
Good use of that sample.
again. Show me the heavens right here, baby. You got me in love again. I can't believe I finally found someone. Got me in love again.
Love the use of that sample. Love the whole structure of that track. The slightly different tempo to it. The fucking upbeat choruses. Man, you have to, like 8 tracks in, you gotta say, it's really good. But the thing that I like about it so much is it's just reminding me of Discovery from Daft Punk, but with like also an Earth, Wind and Fire vibe. Now, obviously, it definitely is meant to sound like all of that stuff, but at the same time, it still feels modern because of the production as well. I think this is the one on FIFA.
Had to get it wrong to know just what. I'm indecisive, but this time I know for sure. Center of attention, you know you can get whatever you want from me. At home, cause I was doing better alone. I should've stayed at home, cause now there ain't no letting you go.
I just remember that they put Dua Lipa in FIFA, which is really weird, but you know, go secure that bag. You really do.
But when you said hello, I knew that was the end of it all. My heart. I wonder when you go hello, I knew that was the end of it all. I should have stayed at home. Could break my heart. Oh no, I was doing better alone. But when you said
Excellent again, light and shade in the production. 4 tracks to go. You can't really fault it for what it's trying to achieve, for the direction that it's trying to go in. To recreate certain sounds, mix it with the sounds of those sounds being recreated, and then to add more to it 20 years on from those sounds being recreated at the turn of this century, and just also bangers upon bangers upon bangers. You can't really say anything negative about a record.
yeah, let's get to the point here. You love to disappoint me, don't you? Make me feel okay. Got me thinking, come take it out on me. I know.
Shit, man, this really reminds me of something, and I don't know what it is. Is it a Mac Miller song, Anderson .Paak? I don't know what it is. Really reminds me of something.
But baby, that's what makes us good in bed. All that good pipe in the moonlight and the long nights where we did everything but messing with my head. Spine. We drive each other mad.
Pretty funny song. I think that chorus would probably drive me crazy on multiple listens, so I could see me ending up skipping that one, to be honest, if I listen to the record again multiple times. The amount going on, the little extra productions, the layers, all the little instruments in there, fucking crazy, man.
In nature to walk home before the sun goes down, and put your keys between your knuckles when there's boys around. Isn't it funny how we laugh it off to hide our fear? Big boys, oh big boys, oh big boys, oh big boys. Because it's all on TV, oh, the kids ain't alright. Boys, oh big boys, but girls will be women. Boys, oh big boys, oh big.
I think the message of that song was actually lost in the ridiculous overblown pomposity of that chorus. which is a bit of a shame, especially the first verse as well, because I laughed because I was like, oh, my wife puts her key through her fingers when she walks home, and then I was like, oh god, yeah, that's not really something to laugh about, is it? So yeah, they didn't really fit with the rest of the record, but like I said, I think there's a powerful message in there, but it was so overblown that I think it kind of lost it a little bit.
If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time.
Such a tune.
I got you.
I'm one of the greatest, ain't no debating on it. I'm still levitated, I'm heavily medicated. Ironic, I gave him love.
Yeah, I'll debate you on that, DaBaby.
You see what you got me out here doing? Might have threw me off, but can't nobody.
I've got to be honest, there's a certain irony on having that Boys Will Be Boys track with poignant messages in it. So I'll keep the shades on. And then having DaBaby, a guy who's not exactly a bastion of feminism, is he, in his music, on the next track.
Cheese on it, get out and get your bread up. They always leaving you far, but you run together.
I want you, baby.
Hey, no denying he rode that beat. He rode that beat really well. It's definitely not as good as the original without him, though. It just ain't.
Oh my starlight, I need you. All night levitating. You can fly away with me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. With me tonight. You can fly away with me tonight. So me, I'm levitating. Touch me, baby, I turn red. I've got a fever. Médicament.
A little bit of reggaeton.
Et je sais que je perds de temps en temps.
Oh, it's French, so.
Oui, ça se voit. Mon cœur se serre, j'ai du feu dans la voix. I've got a fever, so can you check? La voix. Le plus souvent, c'est quand je pense à toi.
The tune was alright. Feels like bonus tracks there. Overall, really enjoyed the record. I think you could tell just from the reaction. Almost every single song was a banger, some better than others, but I just love the vibe throughout the record, and it is something that does appeal to my taste. Not necessarily the origins of that music, it's before my time anyway, but I think a lot of bad disco music has been overplayed, overkilled over the years at weddings and everything like that. But the kind of revival of that through the Daft Punk era 20 years ago, 18 years ago, whatever it was. And then that again, like I say, taking elements from both, elements from the 80s as well, and then adding different stuff on top of it, plus great vocal performance, amazing production, really enjoyable record, enjoyable reaction to do. And a surprise, to be honest, even though I had heard some of those songs, the fact that the aesthetic and the style and the tone of it was kept so solid through the whole record, it actually added to those songs that I had heard before. Cool and Levitating for me were the standout tunes on that record, but maybe I'll pick different ones out over time. But ultimately, I'm just glad, I really am glad that I've been able to broaden out the genres that we're doing on the channel and bring different people along for this journey, because listen, without you guys I wouldn't be listening to almost any of this music, well, some of this, because like I said, it's been on radio, but do you know what I mean? You guys introducing me to different music all the time, and hopefully through this channel, through the comments under this channel and everybody involved, we can all kind of be introducing each other to different music and recommending stuff. And like I say, you're not going to love everything, you're not even going to like everything, but it's always so important to keep your ears open, I think, because you never know what you're going to like until you hear it. Alright guys, like I said, uncut version of this on the Patreon, link in the description, the entire support structure for the channel, and thank you so much to all the patrons. Check out all the super supporters after this video as well, they get a shout out. Thank you very much to all of those guys as well, and that's it from me. Keep it coming, I'll see you all soon, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.